Yeah, I think the most heartbreaking one for me was David Carradine. I met David Carradine at a Comic-Con here, and I think he was like stoned or something. He was.
Oh.
Yeah, I was heartbroken just because Kill Bill had just come out, so you know how that goes.
Well, I think if he was just stoned, it's the least of your problems.
Yeah, well, that's the least of my problems. And I was laughing because I saw your photo with Lloyd Kaufman, and I actually got to meet him at Comic-Con this week, and he's an awesome dude.
He was really, really funny. And it was funny because when I walked up to the trauma booth, he was like, I know you. I saw you on G4. And I was like, oh, my God, Lloyd Kaufman knows who I am. Holy crap.
Hey, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, that was like, I was probably really, really stoked more than any other time. Because to me, celebrities are like, hey, I know you.
Are you picking up Arkham City this week?
I am hoping to. I would like to have it for my stream review. Haven't got a chance to go get it.
Have you guys gone live with that, or are you launching that within the
next Tuesday is the first live stream.
Yeah, you're gonna use that. You're gonna use Arkham City as your first stream, or did you have something else in mind as well?
Well, I think I'm gonna play a couple and flip through since it's the first one. I kind of want to give people more of a grasp of how it's gonna go, not necessarily like this is how it's always set to be. Just kind of an introduction.
Gotcha. I was laughing because when I was reading your profile, you were talking about being a huge fan of the NES. Do you still have it?
It's probably in my mom's garage somewhere. I had my SNES, and one of my old boyfriends, when we broke up, totally took it and kept it in his apartment. I was really mad because I didn't realize it until I'd already moved far away, and I was like, dang it. And in my last breakup, he took a bunch of PS3 games that were mine. I was like, dang it. Why don't you take something like that I don't actually want?
Yeah, take the bed linens. Take the blender.
Yeah, take that crap. Leave my games.
What have you played so far that you feel is a standout game for 2011?
It's a hard one because I kind of pretty much feel like everything so far is going to be until Skyrim comes out.
Yeah, Skyrim looks amazing.
Skyrim will be it, and then everything else is cool. But that is what I'm waiting for.
Well, given that you're so big into RPGs, we saw the new Final Fantasy this weekend. Do you think that Square Enix has dropped the ball on that franchise?
You know, I never really could get into Final Fantasy. I just don't really care much for the turn-based fighting when I play in a video game. I don't mind it in tabletop games, but something about when I'm playing a video game, I do love RPGs and I love taking hours to complete something, but I still need a little bit more instant gratification in a battle than 10 minutes of going back and forth.
Yeah, that works for me. I haven't played a Final Fantasy since 7. 7 is my measuring stick. It is the only one that I can replay.
Yeah, I've heard that's pretty much everyone's favorite. I played it, a little bit on the NES, but I definitely didn't get into it so much back then.
Do you play handheld games too? Did you pick yourself up a 3DS?
No, actually, I just put emulators all on my laptop, and then I got the USB controllers. And usually my laptop's not that much more inconvenient to take than a handheld because I'm going to be probably taking my laptop with me if I'm taking a handheld as well. And I put some stuff on my iPad. You can actually jailbreak it into SNES games on there, too.
Note to self, jailbreak iPad to play NES games.
Yeah, and then they have little suction cup joysticks you can actually put on the screen and play it like it's a big controller.
Hell, I may have to do that. I got to see GTA. I got to see GTA on the iPad. I was very impressed.
Really?
Yeah, they put GTA on the iPad. Rockstar had a big booth, and they had Max Payne. They had Max Payne 3, and they were celebrating I believe it's the 10-year anniversary of GTA 3. And the guy goes, "Hey, you want to play GTA 3?" And I'm like, "On what?" And he's like, "On the iPad." So I walk over, and I'm like, "Holy shit, it's GTA 3 on the iPad!" And you pretty much navigate with your thumb, and it moves them. And then there's 3 hotkeys you can press to jump, shoot, and punch and do melee attacks, and it looked graphically equivalent to the original release. I was super impressed.
It's a great idea. I mean, the iPad is such a good product. Like, if you're going to carry a bunch of stuff, you're going to have to carry around a camera and a phone and, your handhelds and then your laptop stuff. Why not try to put as much into one thing as you can? And the iPad's not going to weigh any more than a handheld. It might be bigger and slightly awkward, but I'm sure the battery life is probably far superior, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the 3DS, I bought a 3DS for my sister, and that thing is a paperweight, and she has to charge it at least once a day.
Yeah, I played that when I was at E3 this year. And the 3D in it kind of would bother me after a while. I don't think I would want, it's like I don't want to see every movie in 3D either. I don't need 3D movie TV at home. Nah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either, because if you stare at it for too long, you get a headache. I felt that it was a gimmick. It was a gimmick, and Nintendo kind of lost their shirt on it. And Sony, we were talking about the Vita not too long ago, that the system looks beautiful, the games look great, but if they don't have a strong launch lineup, that's going to be another paperweight too.
Exactly.
People are going to go, they're not going to spend $249 to play the same 3 games they've played before.
And see, I think that's what keeps me away from the handheld too. It's never like a groundbreaking game that I really need to have. And if I like to commit to gaming a little bit longer, and I don't want to have a small screen and a handheld for it.
Yeah, that's the worst part. I mean, I saw them showing Uncharted, and I love the Uncharted games. They're good. They're lengthy and they're fun.
Yeah.
But I said to myself, I can't sit, scrunched over. I can't, it's not like you're gonna sit down and play it in the toilet.
Exactly. Like,
which is terrible to say, but let's be honest, we all do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's what laptops are so great for as well. But the price too. The price point I think is just not reasonable for something that small. And it's like, if you're really, really into watching movies, you're not going to get an old tube TV from the Goodwill. If it's something you're really passionate about, you're going to get a big screen and like really commit to it.
Yeah, I think that was one of the reasons why at the end of the day, like the Wii, I gave it the boot for that reason, because I had it and I said nothing's coming out, and the PS3 and the 360 are at a level where the quality of titles are better. When you were at E3, did you get to see the Wii U?
Yeah, I got to play with it a little bit. Again, I like the Wii, but I don't have one. I don't feel the need to have one. And the only thing I really liked about the Wii was having the ability to download the old SNES and NES games, but you can do that with your laptop, so it makes that irrelevant. And the Wii U can only use one at a time when you're playing with multiple players. And it's just like having a screen that's slightly closer to you. I didn't really see the need for it. I thought it was kind of stupid. It's a glorified iPad by Nintendo.
So when you were using it, you're saying that the screen, you can only use the one screen and then everybody else has to use controllers, or?
Yeah, only one person can use a Wii U at a time when you're playing multiple players. They're trying to fix that to having 2 now, but as of E3, they can only use 1 at a time.
That's insane. There's no way that thing's going to be less than $400. It's impossible.
Right. What's the purpose then? I mean, it literally was just like holding an iPad.
How do you feel about the Kinect and the Move? Are those things you've tried or you're interested in picking up?
I actually have a Kinect. I have a PS3 as well, but I don't really see the point in the Move, because it's the same with the Wii. It's like, okay, so I want to sit down to play video games, and if I have to get up, you realize that you can just hold the controller and pretty much do the same thing. I do like the Kinect because you actually have to get up and your whole body's into it. It actually matters whether you're fully into it or not. So the Dance Central, Guitar Hero, things like that were really fun party games. But I think the Dance Central's moved on to being even more fun party game, because when you have a lot of people here, it's not everyone just sitting down and taking turns on a controller. It's like everyone's getting up and having a good time. And it's a nice workout, too. You can actually gauge your workout on it. You can put in, your age and whatnot. It'll tell you your caloric intake and stuff.
Oh, that's good. I remember I had made the mistake of purchasing Wii Fit, and I really got tired of being admonished by the Wii, and I was just like, I'm not turning this shit on.
It made me feel bad. And Wii's always like, your real age is 80. I'm like, you make me feel bad. I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. It's like if I wanted to be admonished, I'd stand outside and get yelled at, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, and your bowling skills on Wii don't necessarily transfer over to actual bowling, but your dance skills from Kinect could actually roll over, but you'd look like an idiot in a club. But at least you could all dance in unison. It would be funny.
That's all right. We're not going to tell anyone. It's all good. I know I'm jumping back and forth because I got a ton of questions, so I'm trying to make sure to get everything. I saw that you actually started interviewing some other female gamers. How did you start doing that, and how did you approach them? Did you say, hey, we're running this site, and did you find them from Twitter? Did you know them previously?
Luckily, the issue I was having with a lot of the connections I had, it was because I wanted to do interviews for them with my site, but obviously a lot of them can't be associated with it because it's foreign. So for a couple months, I've been working on getting this site up because it was something I could use those connections and put the people I admire up on something, put something that can be associated with. And a few of the girls actually just heard through Twitter, and, you know, they had already knew who I was or whatnot, and I approached them and said, you know, I'd love to have you be involved with this. And they really liked the idea. And some of them I had just met before porn. I've been collecting the interviews and waiting to actually use them for something.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I really am. It bugs me out how you've put in so much work just on the non-adult side of things, and people are apprehensive about working with you, because when I went through the site, you know, the first time I had emailed you, I said, you know, I'm like, oh, she knows her shit. It's not like it's a bait and switch. Like I'm looking and I'm reading some of the stuff that you had put up and some of the references you had, and I'm like, no, this isn't a soft sell to get people on a site. This is 100% legit. So I was very impressed.
Thank you. Well, it's not so much that they didn't want to be. It was like people they worked for. They wouldn't let them be kind of situations, which I totally get.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, you've separated it so well. You know, I do like that you keep it in there, but you know, you keep it just small enough that people that know what to do can find it.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because when I got mentioned on Mishima and on MSNBC, even though they're saying my gamer tag and stuff, my gamer tag is actually my porn site's URL. So when they're talking about the naughty narrative, you Google my name, of course, my porn site's like the first thing that comes up. So it's like driving a ton of traffic to my porn stuff. But luckily on there's a link to my naughty nerd site too. So if someone finds something they don't want to find, they can find the right thing.
Well, you know what was funny about that the photos you use on your adult site, it's almost like a like a play on the whole girl gamer assumption, which I liked. It's like you were basically clowning the establishment with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's already what I was doing anyway. Just that, I guess it's like painting a picture and taking photos. I'm just using the same medium in different ways.
How many people have you come across in the adult community that are as passionate about gaming as you?
Honestly, probably just one.
Really?
Aria Aspen. Yeah, and she's more first-person shooters and I'm RPGs, but there, you know, it was funny because I'd meet a lot of girls because the whole being nerdy thing is so cool and whatnot now. And I would hear, oh, this girl really likes nerdy stuff. You'd like to meet her. And I'd meet her, and it's like, oh, yeah, I play my Wii and I play Mario Kart. I'm like, oh, okay. Wait, I know we're going to talk about stuff, but, you know, there's people out there.
No, I asked that because a lot of times you run into people and they go, yeah, you might want to talk to this person. You know, they play games, and exactly that happens. It's oh, yeah, you know, I play the DS and I play Pokemon. And I'm like, okay, that's great.
It's like, oh, you like talking to person, they play guitar really well, and you're going to just play Guitar Hero. And you're like, it's kind of the same, but not at all.
Yeah, it's one of the worst feelings. And then you try to find a middle ground to communicate with those people, and you're like, yeah, there's a lot of awkward pauses involved.
Yes, definitely.
I think that the worst part with that is just with like, especially with you, since you like the RPGs, finding that many people that can invest that many hours into RPGs I seldomly see it, and when I do, it's usually more MMO as opposed to just straight out RPG stuff.
Yeah, definitely. There was. It seems like the RPGs mostly are PC people. I would say, but I've met guys in the industry that are equally into games. But I think guys, no matter what your job might be, are probably into gaming. You can find those easily.
Yeah, the gaming contingent was out in full force. I feel that Comic-Con shouldn't even be called Comic-Con anymore.
I was surprised how much gaming was there.
Yeah, it was a lot more. I mean, it's gradually gotten there, and it used to just be game tie-ins to comics, but you know, Square Enix had Final Fantasy on display, and Activision was showing Prototype, which clearly has nothing to do with comics. And
yeah.
It was just shocking to see it evolve so much. Like, they should just like call it GeekCon or something else.
Yeah, because the San Diego Comic-Con was probably 1/4 of the room was video game stuff. And that was the side that was really busy. I felt bad because the comic side wasn't nearly as busy.